Here's a timeline. This is a recommendation. Some people do it differently. Some people need less time. Some people need more time. But this is approximate. Starting about 18 months or a year and a half before you're planning on starting the program. About 18 months ahead of time, that's the time to start really doing some self-evaluation. Do some soul searching. Think about what's important to you. What schools, which programs. A few months after that, you want to start narrowing it down. You want to start getting to a short list of where you might apply. Start looking at pre-application information. Start taking those standardized tests. So the GMATs, the GREs, all of that. The SATs, ACTs. And then 10 months ahead of time is when you should apply to schools. Now, every university has their own deadline. There's no one deadline across the entire country, so you do need to be careful about that. Some schools, it's one deadline. Some schools have staggered deadlines or deadlines for different programs. So again, you want to be careful and you want to check with that university. 6 months ahead of time, hopefully, is when you are receiving an admission decision from the school. Now, some schools will tell you straight ahead that yes, you were admitted, or we're sorry, you've been rejected this round. Some schools will shortlist you or waitlist you or do something else where you won't have the answer ahead of time. So you want to allow enough time to have a little wiggle room in your schedule. Now, 3 months ahead of time, that's the point where you've already figured out what you want to study and where you want to study. You've been admitted to your university. You understand what your budget needs to be, and you figured out a way to pay for it. And you've been admitted to the university. At that point, that's when you would come in and you would apply for the student visa. Now, the student visa is not nearly as important as all the other things we've talked about. I really want to emphasize that. If you know what you want to do for your studies, and you have a general idea of how that might impact your life and why you want to make this big decision, and you figured out how you're going to pay for it, and you got into that school, then this is really the same thing as buying a plane ticket. It shouldn't be that complicated.